What is going on, people? Samuel Jackson here. I'm a certified personal trainer through the National Academy of Sports and Medicine. And today we're going to do a react to a video that I saw that I just really wanted to share my thoughts and opinions on, considering this guy's also a certified trainer, and I wanted to see if I could clear up some things or maybe touch on some things that he didn't add himself. So let's get right into it. And also, before we get into this, please like and subscribe. It helps me a ton, and it also lets me know that you want more of this content. So go ahead and do that, and let's get into it. Thank you.
Belly fat is really easy to gain, but seems almost impossible to lose. Now you're probably aware that your diet is the key to losing fat from this area, but you likely have no idea where to start, let alone how to keep fat loss.
Yeah, a lot of people have troubles with figuring out diets or meal plans or who to hire to bring on that can help them out, or if they don't want to hire, how are they going to find information? So it's kind of all over the place. There's a lot of misinformation out there. Yeah, if I was somebody that didn't know anything about training, I'd be like, oh, what the hell do I do?
Fat loss going for long enough to get rid of the most stubborn areas. Today, I'll show you step by step in 3 stages how to eat to start losing fat and how to keep that going until you successfully lost all of your belly fat and for good.
3 stages to figure out how to lose all of your belly fat? If there were 3 stages, wouldn't this have already been figured out long ago? Okay, sorry.
Before we dive into the 3 stages, let me explain what these stages mean and why you need them in the first place.
3 stages sounds very simple, and I think a lot of people gravitate to that because they are like, oh wow, only 3 stages that I have to go through, that okay, this will be something that's chewable, it's bite-sized, I can really get into it. No, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't even know what I did there.
A body fat of 15% and 25%, or maybe even higher. Regardless of where you are right now, you need to lose enough fat from other areas of your body before your body will start prioritizing burning off your belly fat for energy.
That's very dependent on the individual. Some people can lose belly fat right away. Some people can lose that face fat right away. And other people, it can be the very last one. So that's not for every single person. But yes, you can't target reduced fat. So he is right on that.
For most people, this starts to really happen around 15% body fat. By the time you reach around 12% or 10% body fat, your belly fat will be almost completely gone. Now, while your diet is key to achieving this, the diet you use to get you from, let's say, 25% to 15% most often won't be enough to take you down to the next level of 12%.
I don't know about that. What is the difference? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. But the only thing I can think of is you lower the calories more, but let's see what he says.
The same is true for going from 12% down to even 10%. As you get leaner and leaner, there's certain things you need to be aware of and certain changes you should make with your diet to prevent you from getting stuck and to prevent you from losing muscle. Let's start.
It just kind of depends, because if you're eating 2,000 calories and you're losing weight and then all of a sudden you stop, typically it's just reducing it a little bit more, so maybe 1,950 or 1,900. Still something not drastic. That would not be healthy, but just small little reductions we can make here and there to just continue losing weight. But I don't know about what he's saying here.
Start with stage 1. The first stage is designed to kickstart the fat loss process and keep it going until you get to about 15% body fat. Throughout this stage, your hunger levels will be low, your risk of muscle loss will also be low, and physiologically, it will be the easiest stage to get through. The stage is actually...
See, stage 1, okay, I understand what he's saying, in terms of physiologically, but I think for the individual, stage 1's the hardest part because it's having to reduce those calories and figure out where to reduce calories. I don't know, the first stage feels like it would be the hardest for a regular person, but... Editor's note, I did not realize he said physiologically in the video, my bad. Okay, anyway.
Actually quite simple. There's only 2 factors you need to focus on: calories and
2 factors, just 2, all right, in the whole entire world, all right.
Protein. Let's first talk about calories. You don't need to completely cut out carbs, sugar, or any of your favorite foods. All you need to do...
Facts, yes. I love that. Yeah.
Is create what's known as an energy deficit to start forcing your body to burn body fat for energy. You create this deficit by consuming less calories than your body burns every day. Now, to find the appropriate energy deficit for your body, take your body weight in pounds and multiply that by anywhere from 11 to 13. If you're a taller individual, younger, or more active, go with the higher end. If you're a shorter individual,
all right, so basically what he's saying is like there's calculators that you can do that may be able to estimate how many calories that you can consume throughout the day. It's very rough. This is a very rough estimate. I would recommend just figuring out on your own, eat 2,000 calories in a day, see if you gain weight, see if you lose weight throughout like a month, or if you're impatient, just like a week, 2 weeks. And then if you see that you're gaining weight, then just lower it to 1,900 calories a day. And all of a sudden, if you see that you're losing weight, just keep it at 1,900 until, you keep losing weight, and then it stops, and then 1,850. But okay.
If you're a shorter individual, older or less active, go with the lower end. The number you get will be a rough estimate of the amount of calories you should eat every
I'm glad he said rough estimate. It's not the actual amount.
day. But to hit your goal calorie intake, some foods are better than others. What I recommend is focusing on what's known as low calorie density foods. These are foods that, for the amount of space they take up in your stomach, will only add a relatively low amount of calories to your daily total.
Yes.
What 200 calories of Oreos look like, and here's what 200 calories of cereal looks like. For the same amount of calories, you could fill your stomach with a mountain full of strawberries and carrots. Not only that, but since low calorie density foods tend to be unprocessed, they also tend to require more calories to burn and digest than more processed foods.
All right. So processed and unprocessed foods. This is such an interesting thing he's bringing up, because I feel like he's really making it this big thing. And it's really not too much, because unprocessed and processed foods, yes, he's talking about like thermic effect of food, which is 10% of your metabolic processes in your body that actually account for like burning calories throughout the day. And I feel like with the unprocessed and processed, it doesn't really make a big difference, because both types of foods are still burning calories and still going through the thermic effect of food in your metabolism. It's still processing. So I feel like the calories in there would be very minimal and not as extrapolated as what he's making it out to be. But maybe I'm just thinking too hard about this. Let's keep going.
Now, as for how much of a difference this can make for fat loss, a recent 2019 paper took 20 adults and first ran them through a diet consisting of only high calorie density processed foods for 2 weeks. Afterwards, they switched them to a diet of low calorie density unprocessed foods for 2 weeks. In both conditions, they were allowed to eat as much food as they wanted. The result? The processed foods diet led to almost 2 pounds of weight gain. Once they switched to the unprocessed diet, however, their daily calorie intake dropped by over 500 calories, and they ended up...
Yes, but this study has already been like just debunked, even just by watching this little graph. And you can tell because there's just way too many variables going on to determine that processed and unprocessed foods are the main reason of this, especially considering that they let the individuals eat as much as they wanted. Yes, the low calorie density foods are going, even if they eat no matter how much they want, they're going to be eating less calories. And that's really the main thing that matters, is calories in versus calories out. I would say there's a very unlikely chance that it was because of processed and unprocessed foods. I would say it's more the high calorie density versus the low calorie density foods. But I digress.
Up losing over 2 pounds. At the end of the stage, I'll provide a list of low calorie density food items for you to pick from. But before that, there is one more factor you need to pay attention to. Although eating fewer calories than your body needs will help you lose weight, you want as much of that weight loss to be from fat rather than muscle. This is where protein comes in.
That is true. We want to retain as much muscle as possible, especially if you are wanting to look leaner. You want to keep that muscle that's on you if you're working out. And also we just need muscle regardless to do anything. You don't want to just be all fat, or else you'd be like a slug. You just be like a slime, just going, like just lurking throughout life.
This is where protein comes in. You need to start eating more of it. In fact,
and like, why is he looking around everywhere? Like while he's shaking his bottle, he's just like, I'm shaking my shaker bottle. Yeah, it's got protein, muscle, unprocessed foods. That's what I eat, unprocessed.
Amount of weight, the ones who eat more protein end up losing more fat and less muscle. As for how much protein you should aim for, a good recommendation for relatively heavier males in this stage who are at a higher body fat is to eat 1 gram per centimeter of your height. So if you're 175 centimeters tall, aim to eat around 175 grams of protein per day, with the rest of your calories coming from carbs and fats. Whereas if you're a relatively lighter individual,
You know, those numbers are scary to people that they don't realize how much protein they do have to eat throughout the day, or carbs or fats. And they're like, what? I can't even eat that in a week. What are you talking about doing that in a day? And I'm like, no, you can. Trust me, like there's a lot of foods that actually have a lot of protein or carbs or fats in them that you can reach that. But they're like, no, there's no way, man. You're just, yeah, it's crazy. But you can. I promise, you can.
calorie density on processed foods, and here's a list with protein sources ordered from highest to lowest in terms of how much protein they contain relative to their calories.
I mean, I like that he's, putting the grams like pretty much right there side by side and just saying, hey, like these have more, these have less. You kind of pick and choose where you want, but these are some good sources of protein, and I agree. I think those are all pretty dang good sources of protein, man. Get your protein. You got to put shrimp in your protein, man.
Use these lists to build your meals throughout the day and try to have one lean protein source and at least one serving of fruits and or veggies into each of your meals. For example, instead of a muffin for breakfast, have some egg whites with blueberries and oatmeal. You definitely still can have processed.
Oh, come on. Let him have the muffin. Fit it in your calories throughout the day. Have your muffin if you really want it. If that's this thing that gets you up and you're like, yes, I get my muffin today. Have the dang muffin and just fit it throughout your calories throughout the day. Samuel Jackson.
Foods now and then, but just be mindful of your serving sizes and enjoy them in moderation. So focus only on calories and protein every day, and if you're consistent, you'll be able to get your body fat all the way down to 15%. But at this point is when you'll likely need to refine your approach to continue getting results. Before we dive into the next stage, I'm curious, what stage are you currently in right now, and what's your goal body fat percentage? Let me know in the comments down below.
I'll tell you, I'm in stage 1 right now, and I think I'm at about like 15 to 18% body fat, and I would like to go down to about 12, 13. I feel like that's a fair and healthy amount of body fat percentage, and I think it'd be nice just to look that lean and, get, be able to show off. We live in Florida, so, walk around the beach with the ripped 6-pack abs. So, maybe I'll get down there. I'm working on it. And to where you can also work with me. Welcome to my Patreon account. Yes, work out with me, because I write 4 workouts a week for all of you awesome peoples that want to be a part of the Patreon family. And so there are 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days, and it's just $15 a month that you get these amazing workouts. And you get 3 rest days. You get to relax too and watch those gains just roll in. Why would you not want this? Come on. It's in the description. Go click. Go click.
Below, and also let me know if what I'm about to say later on in this video changes your mind at all about your goal. This is where stage 2 comes in, which involves going from 15% down to 12% body fat. By this point, you'll be hungrier, your fat loss will slow down, and you'll be at a slightly greater risk of muscle loss.
Why would you be hungrier? Why would you be, what, are you like starving now? Are you like, you down to 1,000 calories a day? Like, why should you be hungry? If you're eating the same things every day, or if you have a good routine going where you were losing weight, and like, oh, maybe you stopped losing weight like as much as you did in stage 1, but you're still losing weight, like why would you change? If maybe you did stop losing weight, then yeah, drop it like 50 calories, like eat 1 less nugget. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know about being hungrier. But fat loss slows down. It can be. It just depends on the person and genetics, and there's a lot of factors. So that could happen. And the greater risk of muscle loss, I'm actually really not sure about that. So maybe you lose more muscle, but I feel like if you're eating the same amount of protein, it's really not that big of a deal. If you're losing muscle as well, then I mean, hey, if you're trying to get down to those like low body fat percentages, then that probably will just inevitably happen. But I don't know.
As a result, this is where most people get stuck. There's 2 things that will help you overcome this. First, you need to get more precise with your approach from stage 1. As your body loses more and more fat, your metabolism will decrease and you'll start burning fewer calories per day. This is your body's way of protecting its remaining fat stores. This means the energy deficit you used in stage 1 to get down to 15% body fat may no longer be enough to get you down to 12% body fat. To overcome this,
yes, which is, yeah, well, I was just speaking about that. Can't believe he didn't hear me. Your energy deficit you'll probably have to increase your deficit just a little bit. Don't go crazy, please. Do not. Like, don't drop from like 1900 calories a day to like 1500. Like, even just those small little things, like, you don't need to. Just drop it like 100 calories, maybe 150 if you really aren't seeing a difference in like a month. But do not like really drastically change it. So let's go.
If you haven't yet been doing so, you should start tracking your daily calorie intake and doing so more carefully. You might not think this is necessary, but research has shown the average person will think they eat about 429 less calories per day on average than they actually do. So
that happened to me like as well, where I thought, oh, I'm eating 1900 calories a day. And then all of a sudden I realized that I was putting olive oil on my pan, and that's like an extra 100 calories. And then I was like, oh wow, why this happened? What are you talking about? And then you just realize like all of these things that you didn't think were calories were. And so maybe where you think you are eating 1900 calories, you're actually eating 2250, like he says. So yeah, that definitely can't happen. So be on the lookout for every little thing, every little nook and cranny. You don't know. It's there. It's there.
So even if just temporarily, measure out your food to see how many calories you're actually consuming and ensure you're in an energy deficit. Second,
if you don't want to measure, or you're like, I do not want to measure my food. Like, come on, Sam, why are you making me do this? This is going to take up my entire day. You don't really need to measure your food. Like, I feel like that's here's what I'll say. It's easier to track because you know exactly what's going in and out, and you're able just simple math subtract. But you don't have to do that. Like, you can it is a little harder route, but you can just still guesstimate, but also just like, if you eat the same things every day or eat around the same things every day, you can just kind of cut things, like small things like here and there, and see if that makes a difference. Like, you kind of have to do a little bit more tests with yourself to see if you can still lose that weight and not have to track insane like some people do. But my recommendation is you can either do both depending on there's a lot of factors, but depending on how like serious you are about it, or if you've gone through any like food troubles in the past or anything. Yeah, it's different for everybody.
Stage is when you'll want to start addressing your carb and fat intake. Take a look at this list of carbs and fats. Although healthy fats are needed in your diet, on a gram per gram basis, fats contain more than twice as many calories as carbs do. Because of this, an effective approach is to keep your protein intake high as is, but lower your daily fat intake to the lower end of what's recommended for general health. This is about 20 to 25% of your daily calorie intake. As a result, you'll now have room to introduce more carbs into your diet.
Any fad diets, they'll say like, oh, no carb, oh, high carb, oh, no fat, oh, low fat, high protein, low protein. Like, none of that stuff matters. Like get your carbs, get your fats, get your proteins, make sure you have that fair amount, even like in this video, what he said, you'll be fine. Like, but have everything. Like every macronutrient, protein, fats, carbohydrates, they all play an important role in your body, keeping you well maintained, stable as a human. So eat them all, please. Do not do anything crazy. Don't completely cut carbs. Don't completely cut fats. Especially don't completely cut protein. But don't do any of them. Don't do any of them.
Extra carbs can not only help you better manage your hunger levels, but they'll also provide you with a boost in energy to support your daily activity.
This dude is really he's doing the shaker thing. He's eating bananas. It's all in the same spot. Like, where is he? Like, I want to know where does his gym have like a little, I don't know, like a little room that's like the designated shake your protein and eat a banana room? I don't know. I want to see that though. He needs to tell me. He needs to comment on this video and tell me.
These and performance in the gym, helping you burn more calories every day and better maintain your muscle mass. Make these 2 weeks, and if you're consistent, you'll be able to get down to around 12% body fat. This is where stage 3 comes in. This is the most difficult stage. While consistency with what we mentioned earlier will be the key to progressing through this stage, it's going to require more discipline and sacrifice. First off, not only will you very likely have to be accurately tracking your calories every day, you'll also want to ensure your daily meals are making the best use of the limited calories you have. At this point, your hunger levels will be the highest they've been.
So again, he's talking about the hunger level. Like, what calorie? Like, how many calories are you eating a day, man? Like, And like, I love the B-roll of him like hitting his belly. Like he's like, oh, I gotta go back to the protein room of my bananas and my shaker bottles. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm judging this guy way too hard. Maybe he's just a hungry man. You know, I'm a hungry person. I eat a lot, and I still am hungry. So I don't know. Maybe this is a real thing where it's just hunger, always at below 12% body fat. I don't know. All right.
So most of your meals throughout the day will need to come from high volume foods that will help you stay full for less calories. I do have a past video I made that shows the most effective high volume food swaps to make, which I'll link at the end of this.
That's such a good plug. That's such a good plug. Respect. Oh, you need help? Watch more of my content. Not actually go out and do it. Watch more of my content. Respect. I mean, I might take that from you.
This video. But this also means that you'll need to be more disciplined when it comes to social events and dining out. You don't have to eliminate it completely, but you will have to make wise choices when you're out and make sure that you plan in advance for big meals out or for alcohol.
Pop off on Cheesecake Factory. Cheesecake Factory's fine. It's a good place. I like it. But come on, man. The nachos from Cheesecake Factory, why you gotta just pop off on them? Like, there's plenty of other places that are like that. I mean, you know, I went to Chili's with my fiance the other day, and it was like, you know, you get those chicken chipotle and, what are they? Chicken chipotle, chicken strips and waffles. That thing is like 2,500 calories. It's so worth it. Like, okay, yeah, you know, you're on a strict diet, you're trying to lose weight. Yeah, I'm gonna go have that, because it's really good. And then I'm gonna go back the next day to my regular routine. But I'm gonna enjoy my chicken chipotle, chicken strips, and waffles.
Both of which can drastically increase your calorie intake without you even realizing it. Lastly, ask yourself if the sacrifices are worth it. In my opinion, for most natural lifters, a body fat of around 12 to 15% is the most sustainable physique.
Yeah, you know, and that's probably one of the more healthy ones too. You don't need to be anything below 10% body fat. That's where you're starting to be like, you're aiming to be a bodybuilder. It's just not really too worth it. And also your body doesn't react to that well. And if your body doesn't react to that well, then maybe it's not the safest of a thing to do. So I would leave that to the sport of bodybuilders for doing that for fun.
It's practical to maintain, you get the health benefits of being leaner, and you'll still look great, especially if you have a good amount of muscle on you and well-developed abs.
Hitting us with the testimonials, you gotta love it, the before and afters. This is what sells people. He knows what's going on. He knows what to do.
From training them. While getting leaner than this, yes, it's going to provide a bit more definition and cuts. It not only requires a lot more sacrifice, but for many people, that's when daily energy levels and strength will start to be
Can't cheat on those bicep curls, man. If it's getting to that point, sit behind a wall or sit in front of a wall, but like have your back to it, so that way you can't, you know, like, come on, don't bust your back, bro. I got you. I'm with you.
Negatively effective. And unlike our Built with Science member Patrick over here, who started off with a good amount of muscle, you might actually not end up liking the way you look being really lean if you haven't yet built up much muscle. So while you definitely can get to 10% body fat by pushing through with what you've learned, at least consider hanging around at a higher level of body fat first. And be proud of how far you've come and realize that the extra push just may not be worth it, especially if you can't maintain it.
Good advice. I like that. If it's too hard, or if you don't like it, or if it's affecting you mentally, physically, anything of that nature, just don't go there. Don't go that route. Like, that's not worth it for your health and happiness, especially to cut something down that low. So no, good advice. I like that.
Overall, guys, the strategy when it comes to your nutrition is actually quite simple. The hard part is staying consistent with it. You have to be clear about what your goals are and then find what you personally enjoy and can stick to consistently in the long run. And
Agreed. Consistency is key. It's king. For all you kings and queens out there, consistency is the king and the queen. It hits everything. You just have to go do it. But then again, and then again, and then again.
If you're looking for step-by-step guidance with setting up your nutrition plan and finding foods and meals that you actually look forward to eating every day,
he really found a way just to say, like, here's my testimonials. Here's the builtwithscience.com app that you can go to. Here's another video that you can go watch. He's loading us up with just more of him. He's loading us up with that. He said, I want money. I'm gonna milk you. I'm gonna wring you like a rag. all in all, I think it was a good video. I think he had a lot of things that were great. I think he had some things that, I mean, I pointed out earlier that may have not be the most right or the most correct, but overall, he's a smart guy, and obviously he makes a good living doing this, so props to him. And I might be reacting more to his videos. I don't know. We'll see. But yes, that was it. Go check out my Patreon down below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.